much breath in as you can on the inhale, and exhale fully and completely on the exhale. The more breath we can expel, the more breath we can take in, and the more fresh oxygen our body will have to work with. So, let's get started. Middle of the mat, inhaling up, maybe looking up as your arms go up, floating the arms down. This time arms come down, chin comes to the chest, head falls forward. Allow the stretch to come into the back of the neck, maybe even into the shoulder blades. Inhaling up. This time hands come together to prayer, bending at the elbows, stretching through the lats and the triceps. Prayer hands come back up, feet open slightly. Prayer hands come to the heart, reaching forward with the chest, back with the hips. Forearms rest on the thighs, prayer hands intact, and head relaxes down. Shake the head yes, shake the head no. Let the weight of the head stretch the neck. On an inhale, coming back up, reaching high with the prayer hands, and then back down on the exhale. We'll do this a few times. One more after this one. This time we'll stay in the squat. Allow the arms to release behind the knees. You can heel toe the feet back together if that's where they started. And hug the chest firmly to the thighs. Head relaxes down. Active arms. Compressing the front body. Hands come down to the mat. Feet step back slightly. Knees drop to the mat gently. And sinking back into child's pose. Hands firmly and completely on the mat. Hips can sit towards the heels. Knees open slightly to accommodate the stomach. If this hurts your knees, you can either put something under, between the thighs, the hamstrings, and the calves to lift it up, maybe a blanket or a bolster, or you can lift the hips up slightly so they come up here. If you can bring those hips down, it's a nice stretch. Active arms here stretching forward. And we're going to drop the elbows down. Reach for the shoulder blades. Keeping the breath deep and steady. Arms come back out, palms on the mat. Coming up into tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, hips over knees, or knees under hips. Feeling that if you have wrist issues, you can move your hands forward slightly. So we're going to take that right leg back, flexing the foot. Remember, the head is not up here. It's looking down between the hands, keeping the head in line with the spine so as not to over-contract the back of the neck muscles, the posterior cervical muscles. Toes drop down, press that heel back, stretching the back of the right leg. back again. Do this 3 times on each side. Inhale, relax. Stretch it back. Added intensity, knee can come to chest or leg stretching back. Knees come down, sink back, roll the wrists. Take a break. Neutralizing the tissue. Back up, other side. Left leg extends back, flexing the foot. Neutral hip, don't let that hip turn out. Keep it down towards the mat, facing the mat, dropping the left toes, stretching the leg back. Inhale, relax. Exhale, stretch it back. Inhale, relax. One more time. Exhale, stretch it back. Knees come down. Sink the hips back. Roll the wrists. Shift the hips if that feels okay on your body. Sink into child's pose. Neutralize the tissue. Deep breaths. Full, complete exhales. Coming back up into tabletop, the right leg goes back again. This time left arm reaches forward, just as if you're shaking somebody's hand. Hand and knee down, switching sides. Left leg reaches back. Again, keep that head in line with the spine. Right hand reaches. Hand and knee down, sink back. So remember, I have an issue with my left wrist. I have a wrist chew. And so it keeps my arm slightly bent. You want to try and keep a straight arm if you can. So I'm working on my wrist issue. All right, let's come back up again and do that same pose. Right leg back, left arm reaches forward. This time we're going to turn that palm to the outside. Reach back, bring the arm in line with the body. If it feels steady, bending that right leg, grabbing the right foot with the left hand. Maybe just touching the foot. So you're going to feel that twist through the waist. Little unsteadiness, that's okay. Extend the left leg or right leg back, left arm reaches forward. Hand down, knee down. Sink back for a breath. Coming back up. Left leg reaches back, right arm reaches forward, palm flips to the outside. Take that arm in a half moon action, if it feels okay, and steady. Grabbing the foot, releasing, extending left leg, right arm reaches forward, hand down, knee down, sink back, stretching out the low back. If it feels good, arms come next to you, roll the wrists. And then relax the arms down. Arms come back out, coming through tabletop, tucking the back toes under, and lifting into downward facing dog. Remember, down dog is a back extension first, so if those heels won't go flat on the mat, that's okay. You can bend the knees, get the extension in the spine first, the rest will follow as you develop more flexibility. So pedal it out. Open the feet to about hip width, up high on the ball mounds of the feet. Bend the knees, drop the chest towards the thighs, extending the back. Breathe into it. Returning to down dog. Pedal it out again. We're just warming up here, so take your time, listen to your own body. Your body is your best guide. Listen to it above any teacher or practitioner that tells you to do something you're not comfortable with. Knees come down, sink back, roll the wrists. Arms come back out. Coming through tabletop again, tucking the toes under. Second time, downward dog. Now we're going to walk the feet towards the front of the mat, ending up in an easy forward fold, meaning bend your knees, let the chest come down, same position we were in before, hugging behind the knees, compressing the front body, going into a half lift, hands on the shins, flat back on an inhale. Again, don't let that head come up, keep it in line with the spine. Exhale back down. Blocks are perfectly accessible or acceptable here. Half lift. Back down. Half lift again. Back down. Reversing all the way up to stand. Prayer hands coming down to the heart center. Arms down, pedal it out, adjust the clothes, let all that go. All right, inhaling up, exhaling over, pedaling out that forward fold. So remember, it takes a while to get those legs straight. And you don't want to have a nice, big rounded spine just to keep the legs straight. So bend the knees so you can get a really good stretch in the spine. So we're taking that hara line, which is between the root chakra and the crown chakra, and we're trying to stretch it and elongate it so we have a nice energy flow between the root and the crown, and that really helps with energetic flow, blood flow, circulation throughout the spine, which allows us to have really positive messages sent between the brain and all of the organs and the tissues. So inhaling up, we generally inhale on the rise. Exhale as we go down or fall towards the earth, ground towards the earth. We're going to take that left foot back into a high lunge, but it's supported with hands. And again, you can have your blocks here if you choose, right? No problem with that. We're going to take that left hand, plant it. Because of my wrist, I'm going to do it this way. If you can bring the palm down, that's great. And then we're going to take that right arm and reach way up. If it's comfortable on your neck, you can look up towards the hand. It's a little bit of a stretch for me, so I'm going to keep my eyes looking at the imaginary horizon. Right hand comes down, back knee, left knee drops, uncurling the toes, lifting the chest. Arms come up. Full expression, low lunge. Remember, you want knee over ankle whenever possible. Don't want that knee to come too far beyond the ankle. And a low lunge can actually go a little bit beyond, but I always like to just have it line up with the ankle right over or close to. So full expression, bringing prayer hands together overhead, coming down to the heart center with the prayer hands, rotating to your right. You could do a rotation with the body with the chest lifted, or you can hook that elbow on the side of the thigh and go into a prayer twist. Back to center. Keep the breath going. Hands come down on either side of the foot, shifting the hips back. Lifting the front toes. You can keep the bend in that front knee if you choose. Eventually, leg will straighten and head will come to knee. You don't want these hips way back here. You want them kind of hip over knee here, right? So keeping this stretch going, Shift the hips back forward, keeping the chest low. Let that head relax down. Good stretch in the back hip flexor. We're going to shift the hips back again, lifting the front toes. Coming back into low lunge, full expression. This time splitting the arms. Right arm comes forward, left arm comes back, right arm comes inside the right leg, and left arm can drape behind. So we're going to take a twist to the open side. Back to center. Splitting the arms again, this time twisting the other way. Left arm comes forward. Right arm drops behind the back. Left arm comes to the outside of the knee. Back to center. One more time on each side. Switching again through center, splitting the arms, rotating. Back to center. Hands come down, back toes tuck under, lift the back knee, keep the lunge going, left hand plants, right arm reaches. Right hand comes back down, stepping the feet together, ending up in an easy forward fold. Half lift, flat back, inhale. Back down, right into the other side. Right foot steps back. Keep the knee up for now. Feel that position. Get yourself steady. Energy very much concentrated down the middle of the mat here. Right hand plants. Left arm reaches up, shoulders rotate. Left hand comes down, right knee drops, low lunge, untucking the toes in the back, lifting the chest, arms come up, full expression. Prayer hands to the heart. Rotating to the left. Back to center. Full expression. Hands come back on either side of the foot. Shifting the hips back, lifting the front toes. Straighten that leg, head to knee, that's great, but if you can't, next week, next year, next lifetime, whenever, it's all good. Hip shift forward, letting the chest relax down, head relax down, feeling an intense stretch in that right hip flexor, iliopsoas muscle. I'll get into that later. It's a nasty one, but it's good to understand. Shifting back again. Coming forward, full expression. Coming to center, splitting the arms. Same thing, other side. Center, splitting the arms, twisting towards the front leg. If it doesn't feel comfortable to wrap that arm, you can just drop it to the back thigh. Coming back to center, one more time each side. Back to center, twisting towards the front leg. Center, come down, back toes tuck under, lifting that back knee, staying in the lunge. We're going to do that same twist, planting right hand, left arm rises up, twisting through the shoulders and the waist. Left hand comes down, step the feet together, head hangs, half lift, back down. Let's pedal out that forward fold. Muscles are a little bit warmer now. Half lift, hold that position for a breath. Extend the arms out from the shoulders, bend the knees slightly. Arms are going to come down as the chest rises. We'll go right into chair position. Prayer hands to the heart. As the legs straighten, arms come down into mountain pose. Heels and toes together, pedal it out. Nice. Roll those shoulders. Get in tune with your body, coming in between these poses. Come back to center, but it's okay to do some movement in there. Just to let yourself come back into center. Remember, when we come to prayer hands at the heart, that's bringing both sides of energy in. That's bringing the left side and the right sides of the energies together, right at the energetic center of the body, which is the heart center. That's your energetic center, right? So keep that in mind. It's not just a pretty yoga thing to do. It's intentional. Keep it centered, right into the hara line. Keep that hara line as straight and elongated as possible. Remember, it will arc, it will spiral, but it won't fracture. All right, so quarter turns, we're going to come to the long end of the mat as far as facing the long end of the mat. If you want your blocks, you can bring them to the long end of the mat with you. Wide angle stance. Feet are parallel to the short ends of the mat, maybe even slightly pigeon-toed. So feeling that position, feel the outer edge of the feet, receiving a little bit more of the weight here. Legs are straight. We're going to inhale the arms up and out. And then we're going to take the right toes and turn them for a warrior two stance. Remember, back foot parallel to the short end of the mat. Front foot parallel to the long ends of the mat. And as we bend into warrior two, shoulders are still facing this way, right? I didn't turn as I went. Shoulders stay facing. We've got a nice knee over ankle, or maybe the foot is slightly out. And then we've got a drishti or a focus right over that front third finger. So one long energy line between the fingertips. On an inhale, we're going to straighten the leg, shift the gaze, raise the arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. Right into side angle pose, forearm down to the thigh. Left arm reaching to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Shoulders still facing forward. Outside edge of that back foot into the mat. One line of energy down the side of the body to the fingertips. Coming back into warrior two. Back palm drops, front palm flips, reaches high, reversing the warrior. If that doesn't, looking up the hand doesn't work on your neck, just keep the eyes neutral at the imaginary horizon. Back into warrior two, side angle again, extended side angle. Warrior two. Back palm drops, Flipping that front palm, this time straightening that front leg, reaching high. This time we're going to bring the arms down, keep that front leg straight, going into triangle, reaching forward with the torso, rotating. You can place your hand on the calf or the ankle, or even the thigh if you're not so flexible with this pose. Eventually this torso, this left side of the torso, will come parallel to the earth. And then we'll come back through center, reverse again, and do triangle a second time. Forward with the torso, rotating. And reverse again. Bending into warrior two. Arms drop, legs straighten, toes rotate. Breath in the center. Take it to the other side. Left toes are going to rotate. Checking your alignment, which I still do after all these years. You never know, just to make sure. Bending into warrior two, left side, so sink into the pose. Front heel dissects back arch. If a line were drawn from the back, from the heel, front heel to the back edge of the mat, it would dissect the back arch. Tricia, your focus turns right over that front third finger. On an inhale, straightening the leg. Arms reach high. Inhale. Exhale down, shifting the gaze back to warrior two. Again. Exhaling back down. Inhale, reach. Exhale back down. One more time, I think. Inhale, reach. Exhale back down. Extended side angle. Forearm down. Remember, you're not leaning on it. It's just a guide, just a little stability piece, right? If you're feeling strong, you don't even have to put that forearm down. You can just let that arm kind of hang down there with intention, of course. Warrior two. Back palm drops, front palm flips. Reaching high, reversing the warrior. Back into warrior two, or Virabhadrasana two in Sanskrit. Side angle again. Warrior two. This time reversing with that front leg straightens as we prepare to go into triangle other side. Arms come down. Torso reaches, and we rotate. Coming back to center, reversing. Center, triangle a second time. Reverse. Back into warrior two. Arms drop, legs straighten, toes rotate. Bring those feet together, pedal it out. Remember to be very deliberate about going in and out of the poses. Of course, adjust the clothing. Sorry, my neighbor's working. That's what you're hearing. Okay, so in and out of the poses with intention, deliberate movements, and that will help prevent strain, right? Because the more we do that, and the intention and the habit and the practice, the more we'll establish safe guidelines for our own practice. So we're going to turn towards the front of the mat again and do some warrior ones poses. Left toe, so in mountain pose, Taking a breath here. Coming back to center always, right? Always coming back to center. Trying to keep the struggle and the drama out of your practice. Left toes are going to turn 45 degrees only. Both feet are in their own lanes or their own tracks, remember. So left foot out 45. Right foot steps forward. Adjust the length of your stance. As you get to know this, your practice, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This left hip is going to want to pull back. We want to try and keep neutral hips. So if you have headlights on the hips, they're both pointing in the same direction. If it's not quite there with that left hip, turn the ribs and the hips will follow suit as you get more flexible. So bending into warrior two, same thing holds true. You want that knee over the ankle. Don't let that knee come forward. Keep it right over the ankle. That's the strongest energy line. Up and down, root to crown up and down, knee to ankle up and down. So bending into warrior one, raising those arms up, prayer hands coming down to the heart center. We're going to straighten that front leg. Make sure that left hip stays forward. Inhale. And on the exhale, hinging at the hips. Again, try not to keep the head up. Keep it in line with the spine. If you have blocks here, you can put your hands down or keep them in prayer to test your balance. Eventually, maybe the head comes towards the knee. Maybe it touches someday. Reversing back up. Bending into warrior one. And then we're going to take it right into either balance on that right foot or warrior three. Body down, leg up. Reversing slowly out of it. Leg down, body up. I almost had it. Arms down. Back to center. Prayer hands to the heart. Other side, this time right foot goes back 45 degrees on the back foot. Bending into warrior one. This time right hip wants to come forward, left hip back just slightly. Prayer hands to the heart. Straightening the front leg. Inhaling. And on the exhale, hinging at the hips. Finding your stretch. Maybe only go a little bit, that's totally fine. Maybe you can get that head all the way to the knee. That's great. Your body, your practice. Reversing out, back into warrior one. I'm gonna step off that back foot. Remember, you can just find balance on this left foot. You can find balance if you're kind of not very accustomed to warrior three, or you can take warrior three, prayer hands, balancing stick posture, whatever works for you. Leg down, body up, prayer hands to the heart, and let all that go. A lot of trembling today. That's okay. If your body shakes or you feel like, oh, you're just really training your body to do positions you're not used to. So the poses allow us to go into these positions where we go into them in life, but we're not aware of it, right? So we twist and we laterally flex the spine and we extend the spine and we flex the spine. We do all that in our life. So practicing on the mat helps us keep those parts and those actions, we practice them on the mat so we can take them out into life and our body won't freak out when we do something like reach in the back seat, right? We reach into the back seat to get something when we're driving or at a stoplight. We do that twist, I can get it, I don't have to get out of the car, boom, cramp, then that's trouble. All right, down to the mat. Remember, I like to be on a bolster when I'm doing some of this strap work and ab work. You do not have to be, but that is how I teach it because it protects the low back. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your bolster or blanket or whatever you got, a lift, a pillow at home, on the mat. You're gonna shimmy those hips forward. Then allow the body to come down. This is a supported bridge pose because the hips are just slightly elevated by the bolster. Palms up, knees bent, feet about hip width apart, and maybe 1.5 feet. That's one of your feet and a half away from the sits bones. Eyes looking up at the ceiling. Take some breaths. So we go from balancing on one foot to now coming down onto the mat. We've got feet, hips, back, and arms all supporting us now, right? So there's a big difference between being on one foot and here being down on the mat this way. It's a lot more supportive and a lot more relaxing. But we gotta find that balance so we can take it out into the world, right? Taking what we practice on the mat out into the world. Both knees are gonna come up to the chest, hugging them in. Hugging them in, making yourself as compact as possible. Arms come out to the side, legs extend up, open slightly. Let's do a little bit of rotation with the foot. Or the feet. Foots. So both directions, stretching it out. So easy, try and go slow and feel the whole range of motion in each direction. A lot of people go like this, and I'm like, no, you gotta really feel it. And you're gonna feel it a lot in the lower legs. And then bringing the knees back to the chest. So your chin is not down, your chin is not out, it's neutral. Now we're gonna do some scissoring. Anybody who's in my class knows what we're doing, but in case you don't, you'll notice that little lift of my hips as I come up. That's gonna intensify the scissoring a little bit. So if you're accustomed to my class and you know that, feel free to add that lift as we scissors. But the scissoring is front to back. That right leg will come down. This left leg has to stay close to the chest. So even if your scissoring angle is here, you're okay. As long as that top leg stays high, you're not gonna kick in that lower back. As soon as these legs go down, the pelvis tilts, and then you're using the low back and you're not doing yourself any favors. So keep those legs high. And do your set of scissoring. If you want to do a lift on the way up, that'll intensify it a little bit. And remember, slower is better. And every once in a while, you can just hold that position. And you should feel it work in the front of the body, not the back of the body. And then, eventually, you can take that little lift, right? You can see that lift. And do the scissoring with that lift intact. And then eventually assist your head. But right now I'd ask you to keep your head relaxed down, looking at the ceiling. So you do this until you feel like, I'm done. So when we first started in class, I had people doing it for a very short time. Now, sometimes I have to ask people to stop because they're so conditioned to it now, and their abs are so strong that they could go another 10 minutes. I'm like, class is gonna be over soon. So when you're done bringing the knees to the chest, rocking side to side, and then bringing the feet down on the mat, and allowing yourself to take a couple of breaths and relax. So we're going to go into some strap stretching. Both feet up in the strap. Remember, if you're strap stretching, straight arms are best. Rather than this, because that will work the shoulders. We're trying to get some stretching here with a relaxation in the rest of the body. So we're going to take that left leg out, grab both sides of the strap with the right arm. Notice my arm is straight. Let that right leg open. This left leg can be stretched out, heel on the mat, or bent, foot on the mat. Relaxing the left arm. Breathing into it. Crossing it over. Switching hands with the strap. Leg comes across the body. Right hand relaxes down. Remember, trying to keep that right hip down will prevent this leg from going too far, and you'll feel that stretch on the outside of the leg. As soon as you try and bring it over here, it gets unsteady, and you're going to get more of a stretch in the low back, which is okay, but this is a good stretch to focus on for this particular movement. Back to center, knee to shoulder, flexing the foot. Giving a tug with the arms, pushing away with the foot, engaging the arms here. Notice ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder all in one line. That knee doesn't flow outward, right? Bringing that left knee up, straightening the right leg, holding the strap, the right hand, and bringing that left knee up towards the left shoulder. Flexed foot, straight leg. You're not going to let it fall to the bottom of the mat. You're stopping that with the right arm and the right chest muscles. Keeping the bend in the left knee, right leg comes back up and opens to the right. Center. Both feet come in the strap to neutralize the tissue. Come to center before we start the other side. Other side. Right leg comes out. Left hand on the strap. Left leg opens. Back through center. Crossing it over. Right hand on the strap. Left hip stays down, left arm relaxes down. Ooh, this is such a major stretch here. Back to center, active arms, knee to shoulder, flex foot towards the ceiling, pulling down with the arms, pushing away with the foot. Compressing this left hip flexor. You're also getting a little compression on the descending colon, ascending colon on the other side. Right knee up, left leg straightens, dropping that heel. Right knee comes up to the shoulder. You'll notice my hips are still solidly on the bolster. There's no slipping back or forth. Try and keep the sits bones almost to the bottom rib on that bolster while we're doing all of this. Left leg comes back up. Opens one more time to the left, keeping that right knee bent. Full flex, coming up into the strap. Taking a breath, bending the knees, strap goes to the side. We're gonna lift the hips up. Take that bolster out. Stretch out on the mat. One rotational stretch before Shavasana. Right knee comes up. Right arm stretches. Left arm guides. Right knee and hip to the left. Shoulders are relatively square towards the ceiling. If it feels good, you can look to the right. Complete rotation of the spine. Remember I was talking about the Hara line spiraling? This is it. No breaking, just stretching and arcing and spiraling. Back to the center. Pull the right knee up one more time. Let it go down. Breath in the center. Left knee up. Left arm relaxes. And guide that left knee and you're not flexible enough, you can throw that bolster right under that knee so you can relax into the stretch. Coming back to center, pulling that knee out, stretching the legs out. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling, arms back down, both knees up to the chest, grabbing the outside edges of the feet, bending the knees, opening, happy baby to end the movement series. Rocking side to side, a little massage for the low back. Who doesn't love that, right? Back to center, feet come down, stretching out on the mat, palms up, heels together, feet fall open. Well, actually the heels don't have to be exactly together. Shavasana, you relax for a couple of minutes, maybe even up to 10 minutes here. So I'm going to leave that decision about how long to you. Quiet, eyes shut, stillness. And when you're coming out of Shavasana, remember, slowly, it's good to roll to the right. Take a breath or two there. Coming all the way back up to seated. Taking a deep breath in. And with the out breath, think of releasing anything that does not serve your greater good, anything that might get in the way of the rest of the day ahead of you. Remember, tension and stress can always come out with the out breath. Inhaling, prayer hands to the heart center. And on the exhale, bow down, honoring your own practice this afternoon. The divine light and love in me bows to and honors the divine light and love in you always. May love guide your way. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so honored that you will practice with me in your home through our video. I wish you all good things. Be well.